So today we're going to spend a little bit of time with what I think is one of the most swinging recordings in jazz history, Ben and Sweets. And this record has been a constant companion for a long time in my life. And one of my favorite tracks off of it is this tune called Did You Call Her Today? And it's a contrafact of In a Mellow Tone. And if you want to talk about swing, I mean, this recording is where it's at. And there's a particular part of this recording that I think could be of benefit to a lot of you, and we'll sort of talk about that as we go through. But there's this little shout chorus that they do after the solos and before they go back into the head. So let's listen to it first. Ben Webster on saxophone, the great Harry Sweets Edison on trumpet. You guys know how much I love Sweets. You've got Hank Jones on piano, George DeVivier on bass, and Clarence Johnson on drums. And I mean, if you've never heard this before, when I hit play, get ready for some stank face and some uncontrolled foot tapping. So check out this part. Here it comes. Oh my gosh. So there it is. That's the little shout chorus. And you don't hear this too much like in a quintet setting, right? Usually it's just like, you play the head, you play the solos, then you play the head out, tune over. This is more of like a big band thing almost, where there's this little shout chorus in between the solos and the head out, and it's just so brilliant. Now, very often I see students that are gung-ho on transcription, which is obviously, the way to learn the language, the best way to learn the language. But in the solos that you're learning, there's like inevitably this one part that's just like way above your level technically. And that's a good thing because it can really, really challenge you to get more technically proficient on your instrument. But something like this is really cool because I think after listening to that, you understand sort of there's nothing in it that if you're at like a advanced beginner or intermediate stage that you can't play on your instrument. So something like this is just so perfect to transcribe. But let's talk about the process and some of the things that I think we can gain from this. Now, the first thing is, I think a lot of the time, everybody reaches for their instruments just like right away when they're transcribing. And we go right from what we hear to playing. But I think there's a really important intermediary step that a lot of people have talked about, but it's really important. I actually would go as far as to say it's the most important part, which is singing, being able to sing it. Because singing is a really, really true representation of what you can actually hear. When we play our instruments, and I know this from personal experience, a lot of the time we're playing stuff, we don't know what it's going to sound like before it comes out of the instrument because we can't truly hear it. And adding the intermediary step of singing just sort of ensures that we can hear what we're about to play. Because if we can sing it, we can hear it. We don't have any buttons on our voice, so we have to go right from the ear to singing. So if we started to dive into this, what I would do is I would sort of go phrase by phrase. And this is a program called Transcribe, and I really love it because it's so flexible with what I can do. We'll go over that as we go through it. So if we start right from the beginning again. And what I love about this recording is that the phrasing is so clear. They're really good at leaving space. And the phrasing is just like, oh, okay, that's the beginning of the phrase, that's the end of the phrase. It's sort of very, very clear cut, which I really appreciate. So I'll do something like this. I'll loop the phrase that I want to learn how to sing. Woo! Do it, do it, do dot. Woo! It's unbelievable. How much does that swing? Just that one little thing. Now, do you notice that I'm not singing yet? Because what's the first step before singing? I gotta really understand it. I've gotta be able to hear it. I think a great way to understand the depth that you need to go to for this kind of stuff is when you start singing sort of like involuntarily. Like you hear it so clearly that you can't help but start to sing it. Now, I'm not getting everything perfectly, and I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about that because I know I'm going to listen to it enough times that eventually I'll get it perfectly. The pickup still giving me a tiny bit of trouble. There's some pitches in there that aren't perfect, but I'm just going to keep at it. I'm just going to keep at it. So now if I get this other phrase in here and I'm demonstrating this for a video, I would sit with that phrase for a really, really, really long time, okay? But I'm going to go for demonstration purposes. Let's find the next phrase. Woo! Woo! Yeah, and you see how now that I'm singing it over and over and over again, you hear how it's getting to sound more like them every time. I'm figuring out the syllables. I'm figuring out which syllables to, or which notes to like bring out and which to swallow, you know? And I think one thing that's really important is to really, really try to capture the spirit with your voice. And it can feel a little bit awkward because what you start to realize is that there's a real depth to the way that they're playing, and it may feel a little over the top because if I'm reserved, I mean, I'm getting close, but I think they're playing it with more attitude. Like they're playing it with a little more gusto. And what I need to do is I need to like experiment with my syllables a little bit more and get outside of my comfort zone a little bit. So when I really, really listen to this, I think they're being more emphatic than I am. Yeah, it's cool. It gets a little bit close, but oh, well, that's now I'm starting to get it. I start to realize that if I like get outside of my comfort zone a little bit and maybe start using some different syllables besides just like da ba da ba da, I'm just trying to speak what they're playing. And I really need to experiment with that, right? So now if I start to combine these two phrases, oh. Oh, man. I think with every pass, I'm getting a little bit closer to feeling like I'm actually capturing the spirit of what they're playing. My delivery is getting a little bit closer. Maybe my pitches aren't totally and completely lining up, perfectly. But I'm starting to understand the magic behind their delivery. And I think that matters a lot more than notes for most people. The notes are going to fall into place as you keep practicing, as you keep getting better at your instrument, as you become more fluent in this language. You got to have faith that the notes are going to get there. You're going to start to figure it out. But the delivery, if you could really, really start to get that delivery happening, wow, your life is going to change really, really fast. Okay, so for the sake of this video not being like, 2 hours long, let's keep listening, but listening on a deep level. Done. I mean, come on, like, can anybody make quarter notes sound that hip? Oh, man. You want to learn how to make quarter notes swing? Just learn to sing that. Learn to sing that exactly with them. Oh, wow. The phrasing, it's like unbelievable. And so that whole thing, if you learn to sing it, this is sort of the magic of singing. And this is nothing new. If any of you have heard of the way that like Lenny Tristano taught, he did not allow his students to put whatever they were transcribing on their instrument until they could sing it perfectly. And there's a reason for that. It's really, really important. If you want to embody the language, it's so important to sing. And I know most of us didn't get into this for singing, right? I chose the saxophone because I want to play the saxophone. I don't want to sing. But I understand the importance of being able to sing all of it. And then when I put it on my instrument, it's like a foregone conclusion. It moves way, way, way faster. But that's the real challenge. Like, are you willing to sit with that for long enough that you can sing the whole thing? I think you would agree, you would understand it on such a deep level by the time you even touched your instrument. If you really set the bar, I'm going to sing. I'm going to be able to sing the whole thing, and then I'm earning the right to put it on my instrument. That would be incredible. Now, they go into the head on the way out, and the head is so cool because, again, it's like a masterclass in restraint, which I think a lot of us, including myself, we could use more restraint in our musical lives. Listen to how much space there is in the head. Space. Shut the ooh ah shadeva. And that's another thing that just sort of like starts to happen organically, but I mean you could do it as like sort of a plan. Is like you hear how Hank Jones is answering the phrase. Well, you could answer in your own way because that's going to inspire some things. And most likely, like, so basically what they're doing is they're serving up to you on a silver platter this really hip line, dripping in swing and style and attitude. So if you respond to it, you stand a much better chance of responding with something hip. So sometimes I'll act like a drummer and I'll just respond with a rhythmic phrase. Shaka do that, shade that. Boom, bang, ba-da-ka-da, oh, ah. Sha-doodle-doo-did-doo-da. Did-it-did-it-did-doo-da. Oh, oh, ah. Sha-did-ba-did-it-ba-did-it-ba-did-it-ba-did-it-ba-da. Sha-doo-doo-dee-ba-doo-dee-doo-da. Right? I mean, it's, first of all, it's just like so fun, you know? And second of all, it's I'm participating with this recording rhythmically. And, you know, there's a big question in jazz, like, well, how do you learn rhythm? Is there a method? Well, I think this is the method. The method is spending time with the recordings and, you know, singing along with extremely, extremely rhythmic musicians and learning the language through osmosis, just like we learn our spoken language, right? We learn that through osmosis. But there's a lot of time. There's a lot of time that you need to spend with these recordings, right? Now, I love this recording. Maybe you like a different recording, but what you need to do is you need to find those recordings that are, you kind of get addicted to them. Like, I need to listen to that again. I need to listen to that again. And I'm not going to pretend to know what that is for you, but I'm sure you know what it is for you. Spend time with that. Participate with it. Learn to sing everything on the record, but learn to sing it on a really, really deep level so that it sounds exactly like them, you know? Play games with the recording. Have it on passively, where like you're doing other things and you're listening to the recording, and then have it on actively, like this is a part of my practice time. Are these activities? Not all of my practice time is spent on this thing, all right? There's a lot of other things that I schedule into my practice time. Singing, listening, participating with the recording is part of that. So find something you love, really get into it, and let the recordings teach you to speak the language over time. The other thing is you You can't be impatient. And I think when you're working with a recording that you truly, truly connect with and truly love, it doesn't even require patience, because you can go back to that recording over and over and over and over again, and it doesn't feel like work. And you're really and truly learning to speak jazz when you do this. Your rhythmic conception, your sense of syllabic sort of like delivery, it starts here. I truly believe it starts here. And then you figure out how to mimic that on your chosen instrument. But I just think this is the best work ever, and I wanted to share one of my favorite recordings. If you're intimidated by transcribing, transcribe that 32-bar shout chorus. Let's listen to it one more time before we get out of here. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for hanging with me. Let me know what you think in the comments below.